Hi everyone. Today's video is not in the morning going to work. It's in the afternoon going home on a Friday. You know how I'm always looking forward to having time off from being a teacher. So, today I'm going home. I'm gonna just disconnect. I don't want to know about school. Before, I used to be more, what do you call it? I would get home and, open my work email, actually work. And it's been a while since I haven't done that. Especially now, since I started my YouTube channel, I'm more entertained doing this, so I try my best to not have anything to do with work. So I totally disconnect. And it's so funny because today's Friday. I believe it was Wednesday that sometimes my students, they come to my desk and it's like they can't ask me whatever they're gonna ask me from their desk. No, they gotta come up to my desk and ask me. So there's one of those students that's by my desk, and she sees my laptop that's opened, because when I'm on my break or sometimes my planning period, I will play YouTube. And it so happens that I have the window open of my YouTube, not the end, the studio, I believe it was a part that was open. And she looks at the screen and she's like, Miss E, because they call me Miss E. Miss E, you have a YouTube? And I'm like, no. She's like, yeah, what is that? And I'm like, no, I don't have a YouTube. I'm in the YouTube videos, but it's not my YouTube channel. Because as teachers, we shouldn't share our social media with the kids, much less, have them see it, right? So, okay, that was that. And then yesterday, it happened again with another student. And this time, she's next to me. And then I remembered. And when I looked, and then I looked at her, she was like this. I think she's trying to come to grips with Miss E has a YouTube channel. So she's just like studying it. And she's like, Miss E, and I'm like, yeah, I can't say no if she's looking at it. And I'm like, yes. And she's like, you do? And I'm like, yeah, I started it during my 2 weeks off. She's like, oh, do you have a following? And I'm like, I have a few followers. And that was that. But the page that I had opened, my picture and the name Daydreamologist is it's like very small, so I'm sure from where she was standing she couldn't read it. So all she saw is that there's my channel, but she couldn't see the name. But anyway, and then she tells me, oh, do you talk about teaching? And I'm like, no. Do you talk about language arts, which is what I teach? And I'm like, no. And I'm thinking to myself, no, hell no. I want to disconnect. I don't want anything to do with school, much less talk about it in my YouTube channel. So I need to be more careful with that, because I don't want them to know more than what they already do. So, and I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm not in my car. I am in my husband's car. And it's because roughly about a month ago, my husband was driving my car. He rarely ever does. He only does when he's, for instance, what he was doing that day, which was putting gas in my car. So that's why he was driving my car. So he calls me when he has my car and he tells me, I just had an accident. I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, some lady hit me. And I'm like, God. So since it's close to the house, I got in his car and I went to where he tells me that the accident took place. And the lady, my husband is going that way, right? He's going this way, and the lady is coming from a street that's on the side like this, and my husband has a green light, so he goes ahead, but she hits him on the back of the car, and she attempted to try and get away with it and told the cops. She told them like two different versions. One of them is that my husband took the red light, which was not the truth. And even if he did, that doesn't mean you're gonna hit him. So it was obvious that it was her fault and she got the ticket. So when he called the insurance company to see now what do we do about, getting my wife's car fixed, he called like a few days after the first time. As soon as he got home the day of the accident, he called and he reported it. And so when he called again a few days later to see what's the status of it, they said that they could not get a hold of her. They had called her a couple times and she wasn't responding. So now they had to wait for the police report to be available for them to guide themselves by that. And we're like, how stupid. Like, you really think that by not talking to them you're gonna get away with this, and then your insurance is not gonna take responsibility for it? I mean, really? So finally they said, they cut us a check, they mailed it. My husband contacted a body shop who said that he was not able to fix my car until the beginning of January. So we waited for now, and my husband took the car on Wednesday, and I've had his car ever since. And he got the rental car that her insurance company covered. So that's why I'm in his car. And I don't know if you even noticed, but it's not the same background. And I was trying to record a video on my way to work this morning, but I don't know if it's because his car is a bit smaller than mine, and maybe that's why there's more sun coming in. But on my way to work, when I was looking at the video that I recorded, I had like half of me was in the shade and this part was in the sun, and it's like, I don't remember this angle when I'm driving in my car. So that's why I'm like, okay, let me try and record on my way home. What else was I gonna mention? Oh, I applied for the Amazon affiliate link program. I didn't know that you had to like apply for it. So I did that, and I just started putting a couple links of a couple different products, that including my ring light, which is one of, I think it was my second video. I added the link to that video. The car, the cell phone mount, I did that one. Something else I don't remember. So I did that. And what else? I don't know what you guys think, but on February, I believe it was 25th, it makes 3 years since I canceled my Amazon Prime. And I did so because they had been pissing me off for quite some time, especially with the 2-day shipping. That's what you're paying for. Other than free shipping, you're paying for 2-day shipping, right? And there were quite some products, some orders that were getting to me, 4 or 5. There was one that was 6 days after. And whenever I would call, I always got somebody that said, no, but you know, when you have to, not all items are 2-day. And I would tell them, I know that. The first thing that I do when I go into Amazon to look for something, the first thing I do is that I click on the Amazon Prime. I don't want you to show me anything that's outside of that. Call me spoiled. I guess we're used to getting things quicker and when we want it. And if I'm looking for an item that I can't find because it is an item that is, you know, more than 2 days, I don't want to know about it. What you don't know doesn't hurt you. So I don't even look at that. So that's not an excuse. So I bought a bag for work like 3 years ago, and supposedly it was a 2-day shipping, of course, Prime. And that's the item that got to me 6 days later. And I was so pissed because school had already started and I wanted it for school for my first day, right? And that was it. So when I called them and they told me that, and not only that, when I called that time, they didn't even offer like they did before. They didn't even offer to give me any kind of credit. They just said, you know, it's on its way, blah, blah, blah. So I said, come February, which is when my year was up, when my membership was up and I needed to renew, I believe it was February 25th. I canceled it. I don't buy enough in Amazon to justify $139. And when I first got it, it was $60, I believe, because it was a student discount. And that's how I got it. But I was not about to pay no $140. And I think that's what it is now. Maybe it's gone up. I don't know. It goes up every couple years. So I don't buy enough for that. If you divide that by 12 months is about, 12 and some change? Something like that. Every time I buy something, since I don't have Amazon Prime, it gives me the shipping. And it's usually like $5.99, maybe $6.99, something like that. I would have to buy twice a month just to get to the $140. So I don't buy that much to justify it. No, and I'm not in a hurry. If I want something that's either urgent or I want it badly enough, I ask my sister, which she does the favor for me, that I'll tell her, can you please order this for me? And she has my credit card saved in her account and she'll do it. But that's rare, the times that I've done that. I do it like maybe 2, no more than 3 times a year. So I don't suffer with that. And I actually looked it up not too long ago, and I think it said, I think this was like a year ago that I looked it up, that 75% of Amazon shoppers are Amazon Prime members. That means that there's about 25% that think like me, and they don't have it. What else was I gonna mention? Oh, I got to work today. I'm supposed to get to work at 8:30. I used to get to work at 7:30, no later than 7:45. Our time is 8:30. Class starts at 9. That's when the first bell rings. At 9:10 is the second one. But it's been, I think it was since November, since we went on that Thanksgiving break. When I came back, I come back renewed, that I started getting there at about 8:15, which I'm still early because I wake up so tired because I go to bed later, by the way. So I'm like, no, I'm not going to get there at 7:30. I'm there an hour before I'm supposed to. And work some more when you don't even get paid for that? So I said no. And it was enough that I was already working from home. So I started getting there like at 8:15. Today specifically, I got out of my house maybe 5 minutes later than I usually do. Roughly. And I got there at 8:33. I was walking through the front doors at 8:33. I'm supposed to be there at 8:30. And the principal was standing there. He didn't say anything. He didn't look at me. I know he saw me. So I said, okay, no. I'm always an early bird in the sense that I always like to get wherever I'm going to go, especially to work, at my scheduled time, not a minute later. I could do that for a party, whatever, but not for work. So starting Monday, well, Monday I have to do it because Monday we have a faculty meeting and it's a little bit earlier. But I'm starting to go back to not 7:30, no, but I don't want to get there any later than 8:20. So I'm just going to set my alarm for, 10-15 minutes earlier, and I don't have to worry about it. I remember where I used to work before I was a teacher, where I told you that I worked for 22 years, and my video of going back to college after a certain age. My schedule there was 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. I used to get there at about 5:55 to 6:10. That was the latest. And at first my husband's like, but why? I mean, I was like getting there 2 hours earlier. And it's because I was not working as close as I am now. I was roughly 11 miles away, but the main street that I would take to get there was always very busy, especially during that time. And I worked closer to downtown Miami, so the traffic going that way at that time was a little crazy. So I would rather get there early, even if it's 2 hours early, just so that I didn't have to go through the traffic. There was one time that my boss called my husband, I believe it was like 7 a.m, because I wasn't there. They were so used to seeing me there, and I wasn't working. I was actually either doing homework, because that's when I went back to college, or they were so used to seeing me there that he called, and thank God he did, because I had actually fallen asleep. I don't remember if I hadn't put my alarm on. I don't remember what it was, but thank God that he called. He called, and I still had an hour to get there, but I wasn't going to get there because I fell asleep. And my husband was working, so it's not like he would have realized that I was still there unless my boss called him. So yeah, I always like to be on time, at the very least on time. So I guess that's it, guys. My plans for this weekend: I'm going to work on YouTube. I have so many ideas on the different videos that I want to make, and I have one in mind that I've been working on. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna record it. I'm gonna edit it. Hopefully that'll happen over the weekend. I'm not making any promises, because the last time I made the promise about the video for going back to school later on in life, I uploaded it, I think, a day or two late. So I'm not gonna make any promises. But if I remember, and I think I'm gonna remember, next week when I go to work in the morning, I'm not sure if it's in the morning because the sun and my husband's car, I don't know, it's not. If not in the afternoon, I'm going to tell you the story, which is, I think, a very cool story of how my husband and I got married, how that came about after we had talked about not getting married. So I'll tell you all about that next week. I was just thinking about it, yesterday, and I'm like, that's a cool story to say. So anyway, guys, I'm going to go in now. I'm already home. And here comes my weekend. So here comes my side hustle. So have a great day, guys. Bye.